Hello guys, this is Salim here, and this video is especially for the students who are appearing for NEET examination in July 26, 2020. Right? Okay, so this video will be a bit fast. Okay, we are going to discuss all basics and as well as a deep knowledge about animal kingdom for NEET examination. Okay, so we'll move to the video directly. Okay, so first for animal kingdom, like all animals are classified under animal kingdom. There is no exception. Okay, and these animal kingdoms are classified under phylums. Okay, all organisms are classified under phylums. Okay, so total 12 phylums are there. Okay, total 12 phylums are there. All these phylums are classified. All these phylums are classified based on multiple factors. Okay, as you say, like level of organization, symmetry, organ layers, okay, origin of germ layers, coelom, okay, and segmentation. Based on that, the phylums are getting classified. Okay, first one, levels of organization. That means how an organism is going to perform a function, whether it is going to perform a function with the help of a cell, or it is going to perform a function with the help of tissue or organ system level. Okay, if an organism is performing the whole functions with the help of a cellular level, just with the cell, then those type of organisms are called as cellular level of organization. Okay, so here the division of labor will be very less. Okay, there is no tissues, only a group of cells will be forming all these functions. Okay, examples: sponges, which relates to poriferans, phylum Porifera, right? And next one is tissue level. Tissue level means group of cells which will form a tissue, and tissue is going to perform a function. Okay, and those type of organisms are classified under Coelenterata. Okay, the next one is organ level. That means group of tissues, now it is joined together and form an organ, and those organs are going to perform a specific function. Okay, example: platyhelminthes. And next, last one is organ system level. That is the highly well developed organism, you can say. Okay, all organs will be joined together, will form a network, and those organs will be doing a specific function, respective functions, right? And all those functions will be interconnected. Okay, and it will be giving a process. Okay, then those type of organisms are called as organ system level. Examples, you can say annelids, arthropods, mollusks, echinodermids, and chordates all comes under organ system level, right? So this is how the level of organization classified. The next one is symmetry. So three types of symmetry are there: either it is asymmetry, or it is radial, or it is bilateral. Okay, if an organism is not having any shape, any exact shape, you can say. Okay, if it is irregular in shape, and those organisms are called as asymmetry. Okay, if an organism can be divided into equal half in every plane. Okay, if an organism can be divided into two equal half in any planes, okay, in any plane, then those type of organisms are called as radial. Okay, and the next one is bilateral, which can be divided into two equal half only in one plane. Okay, those type of organisms are called as bilateral. Okay, so the organisms of poriferans, okay, most of the organisms are asymmetrical. Okay, but some few sponges types are also present in radial. Okay, you can say few sponges. Example is Leucosolania. Okay, Leucosolania. Okay, Leucosolania comes under radial symmetry. Okay, but it relates to poriferan. Okay, right. And apart from that, coelentrates, ctenophores, and adult echinodermids will be having a radial symmetry. Bilateral symmetry: platyhelminthes, aschelminthes, annelids, arthropoda, mollusks, echinodermids, and chordates all comes under bilateral. Okay, and the next type of classification is based on germ layer. Okay, this germ layers will start classified. This germ layers start differentiate once the gastrulation happens. Okay, once the gastrulation process takes place, okay, then the germ layers will start classifying. Okay, or you can say germ layers start differentiating. Okay, so once the germ layers start differentiating, it is differentiated into three types. One is endo, another one is ecto, and then one is meso. Okay, if an organism has all these three layers, okay, that means the whole organism is originated with the help of these three layers, then those organisms are called as triploblastic. If an organism is originated only with ecto and mesoderm layer, then those type of organisms are called as diploblastic. Okay, see, simple. Diploblastic means which formed, or the organism which is formed with only the help of ecto and endoderm layers, those are called as diploblastic. Example, sponges and coelentrates. Okay, triploblastic means organism which are originated from all ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. Okay, and those type of organisms called as triploblastic, right? And all other, apart from coelentrates and sponges, all other organisms comes under triploblastic origin of layer. Okay, the next one is coelom. Okay, so coelom, you can say coelom is nothing but body cavity. Coelom is nothing but body cavity. Okay, so usually when you talk about cross section of your body, let's say we are taking a cross section of our body. So this part, this space is nothing but your lumen part. Okay, where our alimentary canal will be present. Okay, over this, the outermost layer is called as ecto. Okay, and the innermost layer is called as endo, and the innermost layer is called as endo. If there is a space, in between, okay, if there is the space in between that, those space are called as body cavity. Those space is called as coelom. Okay, if an organism has a space, okay, then it is called as eucoelomate. That means true coelom is present. Okay, if there is no coelom, okay, if there is no space, then it is called as acoelom. Okay, if there is a space which is scattered into pouches, okay, then those are all called as pseudocoeloms. Okay, acoelomate, coeloms is absent. Eucoelomate, coelom will be present and will be lined with mesoderm layer. Pseudocoelomate means where the mesoderm layers will be present in a scattered pouches. Remember this point. Okay, so examples of acoelomate: platyhelminthes. All organisms involved in platyhelminthes comes under acoelomate. Aschelminthes comes under pseudocoelomate, and annelids, arthropods, mollusks, echinodermates, and chordates comes under eucoelomate. And the last type of classification is based on the segmentation. Segmentation, you can say, which is internally and as well as externally, which we can see. Okay, the organism which is divided into segments both internally and externally, and those type of organisms are called as metamerism. Okay, you can say earthworm. Okay, earthworm is very familiar example for this metamerism, where we can see the segments both internal as well as external parts. Okay, examples: annelids like earthworm, arthropods, and chordates. Pseudometamerism means the segmentation which occurs from posterior to anterior region, from backside to front side. Okay, the segmentation which occurs from backside to front side is called as pseudometamerism. Example: tapeworms and phylum Platyhelminthes. Tapeworm of phylum Platyhelminthes. So this is how the classification is done. Okay, so when we see an overview, okay, this is direct NCERT picture. So Animalia, all animals classified under this, right? Okay, so two major level of organizations are there. One is cellular level and another one is tissue, organ system level. Okay, when we talk about symmetry, either it is asymmetry, okay, either it is asymmetry or radial or bilateral. Okay, when we talk about body cavity, that is coelom, okay, it may be absence of coelom, it may be presence of coelom, or it may be a scattered pouches. Okay, and phylums, these are all the types of phylums. Okay, and here we have to study one important point. Here, this echinodermata, usually adult echinodermates will be having a radial symmetry. Okay, adult echinodermates will have radial symmetry, whereas the infant echinodermates will have a bilateral symmetry. So this is one important point. Okay, so now we'll be studying about phylum. Now we'll be studying about every phylum with some deep knowledge. Poriferans, phylum Porifera is one of the phylum which contains all unicellular organisms. Okay, most of the unicellular organisms are classified under Porifera. They are all cellular level of organization, and their symmetry will be various. That means, okay, some sponges types are irregular, and some few sponges are even in radial symmetry. Okay, so you can say example Sycon, okay, and Leucosolania. Okay, Leucosolania and Sycon both are radial in symmetry. Okay, so that is why the symmetry here it is various. Okay, and next one is coelom. Okay, let's take a low color, it will be better. Yes, and coelom is absent, that is acoelom, and the segmentation will be absent, digestive system will be absent, circulatory and respiratory system will be absent. But it has one specialized system which is called as water canal system. Okay, it has a specialized water canal system which helps in reproduction, food, inhale of oxygen and releasing of carbon dioxide also. Okay, it has a specialized cell which is also called as canocyte cells. Okay, when we talk about Porifera in depth, Okay, so poriferans usually, just a minute. Yeah. So porifera, usually the common name of porifera is called as sponges. Okay, usually the common name of porifera is called as sponges, and their habitat will be usually marine. Okay. Okay, poriferans, the common name of poriferans are sponges. Okay, and here the sponges will be having two pores. Usually the sponges will be having two pores. One is ostia and another one is osculum. Okay, another one is osculum. So this ostia and osculum helps in water canal system. This helps in water canal system. So usually the root of this water canal system will starts from ostia will be receiving the water which is present in a body wall. Ostia will be receiving water which is present in body wall, and this will give this will be reaches to the spongocoel. Okay, this will be reaches to spongocoel. Spongocoel is nothing but a central cavity. Okay, so that means the whole body of the sponges are covered with a coelom which is called a spongocoel. Okay, and then the water will be expelled out. It will be goes out through osculum. So ostia and osculum are the two pores which helps in connection of this water canal system. Okay, and it has a water canal system. Okay, fine. Then the digestion will be intracellular, and it has an exoskeleton which is called as spicules. It has a endoskeleton which is called as spicules, and the reproduction will be both sexual and asexual will takes place. If it is sexual, it will be forming the gametes. Okay, and they are hermaphrodites. Okay, they are hermaphrodites. That means the sexes are not separate. Okay, where the fertilization will be internal and the development will also be indirect. Okay, so when we talk about asexual reproduction, it will undergo asexual with the help of fragmentation. Okay, it will undergo fragmentation for asexual reproduction. Examples of porifera: leucosolania, cycon. Cycon is also called as scypha. Cycon is also a common name of cycon is called as scypha. Okay, and a common name of spongilla is called as freshwater sponge. It is called as freshwater sponge, and for euspongia it is called as bath sponge. It is called as bath sponge. Okay, so that's it, enough. Okay, apart from that, no need to study anything for this poriferans. And remember one thing, it is a diploblastic organism. That means the origin of those organisms are either it will be endo or exo only. Okay, endoderm or exoderm only, right? The next one we are going to start studying about coelentrates. Okay, then we are going to start studying about coelentrata. Okay, coelentrata is also called as cnidaria. Okay, because it has a stinging cell. It has a stinging cells. Okay, so this stinging cell used for protection as well as for you can say for the defense mechanism. Okay, so it will be engulfing the organism, engulfing the prey with the help of the stinging cells, and those stinging cells will be having a toxic substance in the in the tip of those stinging cells. Okay, which helps in paralyzing, right? And that is called nematocyst also, right? It has a tissue level of organization, and the symmetry will be radial. Absence of coelom, segments are absent. Okay, and it has an incomplete digestive system. That means the organism will be having a blind sac. That means let's say an organism is there. This organism will be having one single opening where the food will be entered, as well as which uses those same opening for releasing the waste also. Okay, so only one opening will be there where the food will be taken in, and as well as the food will be expelled. The waste food will be expelled out. Okay, and those type of digestive system is called as incomplete digestive system, and it is called as blind sac. Okay, and the circulatory system is absent. Respiratory system is also absent. It has a cnidoblast cell. It has a cnidoblast cell, which is also called as stinging cells. Right? Okay, we'll have some basic idea about our coelentrata. Usually this whole body, the organisms which is involved in coelentrata, all those body cavity is also called as coelentron. Okay, the body cavity is also called as coelentron, or you can also say it is a gastrovascular cavity. It is also called as gastrovascular cavity, and so it is termed as coelenterata. Okay, and they will be having a stinging cells which is called as cnidoblast or cnidocytes. Okay, so this stinging cells are found. This stinging cells will contains a nematocyst. It contains a nematocyst, right? Okay, so this cnidoblast are found on the tentacles of the body, and this helps in defense, anchorage, capturing of prey, all these things. Okay, then metagenesis. It undergoes metagenesis. Metagenesis is nothing but alternation of generation. It undergoes alternation of generations. Okay, it has two different structures for male and female. Okay, the male part which is called as polyp and the female part which is called as medusa. Okay, the polyp part is sessile. Okay, the polyp part is sessile and cylindrical. Okay, polyp part is sessile as well as it is cylindrical. Okay, and for medulla it is free swimming. Medulla is free swimming and it is umbrella shaped. It is umbrella shaped like jellyfish. Okay, example, it is jellyfish, umbrella shaped like Aurelia, you can say Aurelia. Okay, this is directly from your NCERT, right? Example will be jellyfish, right? Okay, then this cnidarians. Okay, this cnidarians example of this the organism which have both metagenesis, polyp and medusa, which is called as Obelia. The example of cnidarians are Obelia. Okay, when we talk about examples of metagenesis, okay, the metagenesis, Obelia will be the answer for metagenesis, right? Apart from that, other examples of coelenterata, Hydra will be there. Hydra, which is common and scientific name, both are called as Hydra. Physalia, which is called as Portuguese man of war, which is called as Portuguese man of war. Okay, and Adamsia is there. Adamsia is called as sea anemone. Okay, Pennatula is called as sea pan. We are talking about common names. Okay, and Gorgonia, which is called as sea fan, and Meandrina, which is called as brain coral. Corallium, which is called as red coral. Obelia, again sea fur. A common name of Obelia is sea fur, and Aurelia is jellyfish. Right, so remember this common names. Usually the questions will come from the common names, like you can say match the following type of questions comes from common name. So you should know the scientific name as well as the common name of those organisms, right? Okay, next we are going for next phylum, which is called as Ctenophora. Next phylum is Ctenophora. Okay, so Ctenophora, it is again tissue level, radial symmetry, absence always, and incomplete digestive system, so blind sac will be there. Okay, and absence of circulatory system, absence of respiratory system, and it has a comb plate like structure. It has 8 external rows. It has 8 external rows, okay, for locomotion, which helps in locomotion. Okay, then so as I said, 8 rows of ciliated comb plates will be present. Okay, and this Ctenophora is commonly called as, the common name of Ctenophora is called as sea walnuts. It is called as sea walnuts or comb jellies. It is also called as sea walnuts or comb jellies. Okay, and the habitat will be usually it is marine. Okay, they are radial symmetry, and they will be having 8 rows of ciliated comb plates, which helps in locomotion. That means movement from one place to another. Reproduction, only sexual reproduction will takes place. Only sexual reproduction takes place, and they are also hermaphrodites. Okay, they are also hermaphrodites. That means there is no various in where there is no sexes different. Okay, there is no different sexes, right? Okay, and the development will be indirect. Okay, examples of this Ctenophora are Pleurobanchia, Beror, and Ctenoplana, right? Next we'll be going for the next phylum, which is called as Platyhelminthes. Okay, Platyhelminthes, okay, with the name we can say it has flat body. Okay, all the flat body organisms are classified under Platyhelminthes. They are the first phylum which have an organ system level of organization, as well as the symmetry is also bilateral. Okay, and the coelom is absent, segmentations are absent. Okay, and here again the digestive system is incomplete, and here circulatory system is also absent, respiratory system is also absent, and it has a flat body. Okay, so this organisms will be having a specialized cell which is called as flame cells. Okay, this flame cells helps in excretion and osmoregulation. Okay, this helps in excretion and osmoregulation. Okay, excretion, removal of nitrogenous waste. Osmoregulation is maintaining of water. Okay, and here you can say one example which is tinea. Okay, usually tinea is a round in shape, okay, roundworm type of organism, but still it is classified under platyhelminthes just because tinea has a incomplete, it has an incomplete digestive system. Just because of one character, it is classified under platyhelminthes, right? The common name of platyhelminthes is called as flatworms. The common name of platyhelminthes is called as flatworms. Okay, so that means dorso-ventrally both it will be flat. Okay, and it has a hooks and suckers. It has hooks and suckers, which helps in the presence of which helps in the attachment. Okay, which helps in attachment. Okay, and it also helps in absorbing nutrition from the body surfaces. So this suckers helps in absorbing food. Okay, it helps in absorption of food. It helps in absorption of food, and also it has a flame cells which is helping in excretory. Okay, which helps in excretory as well as osmoregulation. Okay, and the reproduction here, the reproduction is sexual. Okay, and the gametes formation will take place. Again, it is hermaphrodite. Okay, again it is hermaphrodite. Okay, and here the development will be indirect. Okay, and the larval stage will be various. Right. Examples are planaria. Okay, which has a high regenerative capacity. High regenerative capacity. That means if an organ or a part of a body, if it is dissected, okay, or if it is degenerated, then again it will be regenerated. Okay, so that is a specialty of a planaria. Okay, and then fasciola. Common name of fasciola will be liver fluke. Okay, common name of fasciola is liver fluke, and tinea common name will be tapeworm. Okay, so these are all the examples of platyhelminthes. Next we'll move to Aschelminthes. Aschelminthes here all roundworms are involved in or classified under Aschelminthes, and this Aschelminthes will be having a specialized muscular pharynx. This Aschelminthes organisms will have a specialized muscular pharynx. Okay, they are organ system, they are bilateral, and this is the only phylum which has pseudocoelomate. Pseudocoelomate means, as I said, the mesodermal layer will be scattered. Okay, the mesodermal layer will be scattered into pouches. Okay, that is called pseudocoelom. Absence of segments, complete digestive system. That means it has separate opening. Okay, mouth and anus part will be there. So mouth will be used for taking food, as well as anus will help in releasing the waste. Okay, so the digestive system is called as complete digestive system. There is an absence of circulatory and absence of respiratory system, but they have a specialized system, which cell which is called as Rennet cells. It has a specialized cell which is called as Rennet cell, which helps in excretion. Okay, so often they will be worm shaped and they are round in shape. Okay, as the name as means, it is round in shape. Okay, so common name of Aschelminthes is called as roundworms. Right? Okay, common name of Aschelminthes is called as roundworms, and the habitat usually it will be present in both aquatic and as well as terrestrial part. Okay, they are bilateral symmetry, they are organ system level. Okay, and they are triploblastic as well as they are pseudocoelomate. That is one important point. And they have a complete gut system. They have a complete digestive system. That means complete alimentary canal with a muscular pharynx will be present. Okay, it has a presence of muscular pharynx, right? And the reproduction it is unisexual. Okay, reproduction it is unisexual. That means it is dioecious. Okay, dioecious means in a single body itself both organisms will be present. Male will be separate, female will be separate. That is called as dioecious. Okay, monoecious means in the same organism both male and female will be present, right? Okay, and it shows dimorphism. It shows sexual dimorphism as well. Okay, and usually here females will be longer. Okay, longer than males. Okay, females will be longer than males, and the fertilization will be internal. Development may be direct or indirect development will be there. Okay, when we talk about examples, Ascaris, which is called as common roundworm. Okay, the common name of Ascaris is called as common roundworm. Okay, Wuchereria, which is called as filarial worm. Okay, and Ankylostoma, which is called as hookworm. And Enterobois is called as pinworm. And Loa, which is called as eyeworm. So this is what about Aschelminthus, right? The next one will be start studying about Annelida.